Hello and welcome back to the final third. Today's episode discussion is Man United and are they title contenders? Steph, start us off. What do you think? What do Man U need?
Right,
what?
where to start, guys? This is the topic I've been waiting for.
Oh, of course it has.
Well, if you look back at our predictions, none of us said, by the way, last video,
Have a look.
Check the last video, guys.
none of us said that they would be anywhere near the top two. So,
No.
what do they need to be
To bridge that gap.
title contenders?
Steph?
There's a lot of things then to start off with
Okay.
that I'm going to ask you a question and hopefully you're going to have a chat to me about,
Yeah.
which is the way the video is going to work. So,
Nice.
right,
Love
I'm
it.
going to start off with, what do you think about Solskjaer to start off with? We can talk about these players as much as we want.
But it's all
And in
down
our
to him.
prediction videos, we talked a lot about good coaching.
Okay.
My first argument and question to you two is, what do you think about Solskjaer? And if we were to replace Solskjaer tomorrow with another manager such as Hunter, such as Potter, who aren't known as
Okay.
top players but are good coaches,
Okay.
what's going to change? What do you think is different than to Man United?
For me, Solskjaer, I think he struggles. I like a manager who's on the sideline telling
Yeah.
the boys, right,
Me too.
do this, do that. He seems very, I don't know, he looks at the screen at the side, he doesn't seem to be in it as much.
Yeah.
And I question some of the decisions that he does make.
Yeah.
I think if you were to say you were to sack him, I think there's only one person I would bring in, to be honest, at this current time, who isn't in a job, would be, and I think that's Pochettino, because his style is good.
The one thing that, adding on to your point there, is very valid. The worst thing that I used to find with somebody like Van Gaal was that he was guilty of that.
Okay,
And that
yeah.
was something that really, really wound me up. You know, you being a Liverpool fan, if I watched Klopp during a game,
He never
not
sits down.
Not even talking about how effective they both are, because as far as we're concerned, maybe somebody like Michael Carrick, who's one of the coaches, is maybe on the sideline giving instructions.
Yeah.
But I'd much rather see Klopp on the sidelines than watch
Klopp
Solskjaer.
doesn't sit down.
Yeah.
See, for me, I'm a bit on the. I'll go completely the other way. I think Solskjaer as a manager looks quite a tactical manager. I think that his weakness is not having second plans and plan Bs and plan Cs. But I think on the other side of that, as a manager, you do your managing and your coaching on the training grounds, and the talking and the motivating and everything else should be through your players. I think realistically, being on the sideline, you're not going to be able to, your players aren't all going to be able to hear you. So your right back, who's on the other side of the pitch, and you want to get a message to him, you shouldn't be the one having to do that message. That should be your captain. That should be your centre back. That should be your centre mid, your goalkeeper, the one who's closest to him. Being able to know what you want to do on the training ground and being able to then put what you've said on the Thursday and the Friday in training to then into action on the Saturday.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about their current squad then.
Right.
What do they need?
What do they
What are
need?
they
So,
lacking?
as again, I watch a lot of United, and the worst thing that frustrates me with Solskjaer to start off with is his late subs.
Yeah.
Okay, that
He's slow. He's slow in reacting.
You'd argue that he's slow in reacting, but my argument, adding on to what you've asked there, is does he have the quality to bring on? Okay, is he slow in reacting because he's thinking to himself, even a tired Rashford is better than a fresh Dan James?
Yeah, to be
Point,
fair,
okay, yeah.
point taken.
You know, you'd rather take Bruno off after 85 minutes than what we've got next after Bruno at the moment is somebody like Pereira.
So, lack of depth
Yeah.
is basically what they're struggling with then.
So, yeah, because you'd argue that Man U, as a first 11 and the strongest 11 since Bruno has joined us, are one of the strongest teams as a
Well, that shows in our
starting
predictions.
11.
We
Yeah.
do believe in from our predictions, we've all said they're a decent team, top 11, their first 11. But like you said, strength and depth is suffering. Okay, you've got youngsters coming through like Greenwood. Okay, that now holding the number 11 shirt is he gonna have that season that he's gonna break through and score 15, 20 goals?
I think he will.
To support Rashford, to support Martial, with players like Bruno behind him, can he do it? And Van der Beek.
I think what Man U needs, answering your question about what we need to be real title contenders, is I think we need to have a first team winger. I love Greenwood. and I think he's got so much potential. And I think if he was to come off as an option, I think that is incredible that we can bring on some.
So you wouldn't start Greenwood up front?
For me, if we're really trying to think of what Man United need to be real title contenders, I don't think you're winning a league with Greenwood as your starter on the right wing.
Right. So you basically want Sancho, don't you?
I think.
Let's be honest.
For me, we have to have Sancho.
Would you see it as obviously it'll be unsuccessful. How bad would you see it if you didn't get Sancho or any other right winger or ringer?
I think it'd be awful.
Well, so the current business you've done, you wouldn't be satisfied with what you've done?
No.
Because you haven't had a winger?
No, because we've needed a winger for years.
Right, okay.
We've needed a winger since Ronaldo left.
Obviously, you've bought Van der Beek, spent a bit of money. Money doesn't grow on trees. Where do you think you could get money from other players in that squad that you don't believe are good enough now to be able to fund these better players?
Okay, so this is where my worry is as a United fan. Okay, because if I'm looking at the Man United defence, right, and if I'm thinking, right, which one of these, who in this team is gonna be a part of a title-winning team?
Yeah.
Right. So let me name you these, and you, Bryn, I'll ask you, and you say yes or no.
Right.
Right. Is Wan-Bissaka a Premier League winning right back? Potentially.
I think he could be.
He could be. He's potential.
Okay. Right. Okay. So that was my first one.
Yeah.
We have Maguire.
Good player.
Yes, good player.
With a bit of controversy over the summer, is he going to be able to keep that captain's armband? Is he good enough?
Yeah.
He's slow.
Okay.
I think he's your best centre back.
And then thinking now, so is Lindelof a Premier League winning centre back?
I don't think
he's a Premier League. He could be in a squad, but I wouldn't put him as a starting centre.
No.
And then finally, is Luke Shaw a Premier League winning left back?
No.
I think he is. I think for me, he's one of our best centre back. He's one of our best defensive players.
Why did you say that?
His energy, how much he runs. I think he goes under the radar quite often.
His work rate.
For me, if he was fit during the Europa League when we got knocked out, I think we would have won that game. Because we were relying then on a very, very young, inexperienced 20-year-old Brandon. Okay. But that's our strongest. That's our strongest.
Who are you going to get rid of?
I'm then thinking, right, Eric Bailly, is he good enough?
Injury prone.
No. Chris Smalling,
he's
at
off.
age 30, he's off to Roma anyway, apparently.
Rojo.
And then we're thinking, Rojo, get rid of him.
Get rid of him.
Dallo, who was only age 21, and I'm a bit disappointed the way he's being treated.
But he's clearly not.
He's not what Solskjaer thinks he was.
Not good enough.
And then I'm thinking, right, are these players really good enough? Brandon Williams.
Potential, but I don't like how he just.
I think
falls
he's
on the floor.
good.
Yeah.
But I think there are better youngsters in the Prem who are better than him.
Phil Jones.
Definitely not.
Get rid of him. Twan Zabi, who's injury prone, has basically missed the whole season from injury.
So you're basically there's a lot of dead wood there.
I'm thinking Lingard. Get rid of him. I'm thinking McTominay. He's not good enough. He hasn't proven himself. I'm thinking Pereira.
Whoa, sorry. Let's go back to
McTominay.
McTominay. Are you sure? Wow, I'm stunned. I'm stunned with that.
He's not. What I like him. Don't get me wrong. I follow him on Instagram. I'm a big fan.
Big fan of his social.
I'm a big fan on him on social media.
He keeps himself in good shape.
But if I'm being brutal and I'm thinking of how Man United are going to build a Premier League winning team,
you can't see him in.
I do not at the current way see him. I think if I'm. I'd love, and this is again controversial, I can only see McTominay really growing if he had a big European move. I can't see him turning in and reaching his full potential.
If I'm honest,
at the moment,
I think the quotas for the Premier League and the Champions League will never see that happen because obviously every team in the Premier League needs 8 English players or British players. He's got to be there. I think obviously you've got a player coming in then to sit alongside him in Bruno. That has made such a big impact on your team. That obviously he's taking him out. He's taking McTominay out of that squad, but obviously Bruno's
needs to.
Bruno's improved him.
The problem is again, I'm talking about depth. We've brought on McTominay off on the bench to try and make an impact. We've brought Fred on, who had an incredible
season. But again, how old is
season.
McTominay?
McTominay's young. He's
Only
only
23.
23.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
You
so-
can't expect him to be an impact.
You look at Fred. 2 years ago,
23.
Fred was a fail.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Fred was your best player at the start.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
take out Bruno. Fred is your best player this year.
But they've struggled to really make any impact at all. They've come on and all they've been able to do is
But do you
a
think
job.
that's down to Solskjaer not giving him opportunities? Because if they're only bringing him on for the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, they're not given opportunities to actually make a big enough impact.
No, I can't. I don't think you can say that. They were given a couple of opportunities in the Europa League when that restarted. We've given them opportunities against FA Cup, and that was not good enough. They started against Chelsea in the FA Cup, and we got knocked out. Okay, we did try and have a few players there when we played Norwich in particular. Sorry, before that,
Yeah.
they
When it
all
went to
started,
extra time.
and that was an appalling game of football. If I'm being honest, guys.
I think one last question before we finish, boys. Are Man U going to sign Sancho?
No.
Steph?
They have to.
But will Man U sign him? No, they have to. Will they sign him?
Something makes me think now that compared to Mourinho and Van Gaal, as experienced managers, they would go to the board and say, right, here's a list of 10 players, get me as many of them as you can.
Okay.
And as we've learnt over the last couple of years, I get the feeling that the board have let those managers down. They've gone, no. Okay?
So you're saying that the board are not going to let Solskjaer down with
what I'm hoping Solskjaer's learnt this year, that he can't trust that board to do his job. And apparently there's talks in the papers that when we signed Van der Beek, that Solskjaer spoke personally to Van der Beek.
Okay.
So my hope is that Solskjaer's realised that I have to keep an eye on this board because otherwise he is getting sacked in January. I think
he was
at the moment Solskjaer has acknowledged that the expectation for United is high because we had such a good run. We've had 2 good runs with Solskjaer when he first signed and then when we came back from lockdown. But I think Solskjaer has realised that at the rate that we are going at, without 1 or 2 more key signings and getting rid of some of these extra players, he's going to be under so much pressure by, I think, Christmas time.
So you're saying if you don't sign Sancho, Solskjaer could lose his job by January?
He's worried. He must be worried, okay?
And on that bombshell, Steph...
Oh, can we keep going?
I know you could talk and talk, pal, but on that bombshell... Sancho is then key for you.
And
okay.
Please give us some extra likes on this, guys. Please give us some extra comments.
It kills me to talk about Man U all the time, boys. Right, there we are, lads. Make sure you comment and subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.